Hey girl, hey, welcome to Tia's Table. Let's talk about everything from the latest fitness and wellness trends, recipes that are actually worth cooking, and the craziness that's happening on our side of the internet. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. I'm so excited for our call today because I feel like what we're going to talk about is quite therapeutic. And I feel like it'll give us something to kind of think about, because I feel like on this podcast, we've always talked about things like romanticizing your life. Last call, we talked about microdosing joy. And I think we've discussed like what to do. And I think we've even discussed like how can we make things happen? But I don't think we've really ever discussed why it's so hard to do any of those things, like in great detail. So picking up where we left off at our last call, today we are going to get into a topic that I feel will address that. But before we do, let's talk about what is on my table today. And it's been on my table off and on, actually, since coming home from the hospital. It's a very simple thing. It's something that everybody can make. Whether you like it or not, that's a whole different conversation. But, girl, it's a tuna sandwich. It's a tuna sandwich, and let me tell you why it's a tuna sandwich. Number one, because really, there are only like a few things that I can eat on a regular basis right now. Bread and meat is one of them. So I try to eat those things. Y'all know me already. I try to eat what I can eat in a million different ways. So my husband made me a tuna sandwich like a month ago, and I had forgotten how good it was. And so now, girl, that's back in my regular rotation of things that I'm like, yeah, keep that going in here. Mainly because number one, it's quick to make. Number two, it's easy to make. And number three, you can low-key eat tuna salad in a million different ways. It's just kind of like your preference, right? I prefer to eat my tuna salad on potato bread because it's so delicious. If you're on a fitness journey, you might want to eat yours on a multigrain slice or two, or maybe you just want to go bread-free and eat it on some romaine lettuce. Get it how you live it. But let me tell you how I like my tuna salad made. First of all, we're always going to get the tuna in water. Drain that water off. Then we're going to use Duke's mayonnaise. Because if you're not using Duke's mayonnaise, it's going to tell me a lot about you. Mainly where you're from, but also just about your taste buds and how you like for things to kind of be on your palate. I also like chopped boiled egg in my tuna salad, as well as some finely chopped red onion. And I love a good cubed dill pickle. Now, when you're in the store and you're on the pickle aisle, you're going to see all those Mount Olive jars. Some of them will say sweet cube, and some of them will say dill pickle cubes, or like dill cubes, something like that. You want to get the ones that say dill cubes. Keep those sweet cubes out of your foods, right? Keep it out of your foods. I don't even put sweet cubes in my potato salad, because why? Why are we doing sweet in things that should be savory? I don't know. I also season my tuna salad with more of like the savory things. So we keep it really simple. You want some garlic powder, you want some salt, you want some pepper, and that's really kind of it. You might throw in some dill if that's your thing. You might have some extra spices that you like to put in yours. Girl, do your thing. If you have nature's seasoning, even better, because that's what I would really use. We ran out of nature's seasoning, I noticed, and it hasn't been replaced. And since I'm not the one cooking right now, I haven't mentioned it, but like today when I was plating my food, because my husband was on a call, and so I was in the kitchen like, ooh, haven't had to do this for myself in quite some time, but I was, making my little tuna sandwich, and I was cutting up my baby cucumbers because that's what I was eating with my sandwich, and I got a handful of Lay's chips, the yellow bag, and I was going to season my baby cucumbers with some nature's seasoning, and it was nowhere to be found. And I said to myself, oh, let me put that back on his grocery list, because how do you run out of that and then not go back and get it? But I say all that to say you can either use garlic powder, salt, and pepper, get the same effect, or girl, just keep you some nature seasoning like on deck, because it goes in a lot of things and it goes in a lot of things well. Okay? Get back to the simple things. Make life easy for yourself. And I think I had gotten away from things like a tuna salad, something that was super easy to make, super inexpensive to make. And of course, like I said before, it offers you a variety of meals. You can put it in a salad. You can eat it with crackers as a snack. You can make a wrap. You can do so many things with tuna. So enjoy that. That is another not so exciting meal that's been on my table here lately. But you know what I think I'm gonna do for our call on Thursday? I think I'll go get the meal plan that I'm following for this whole era of 2025, and I'll share that with y'all, like what they gave me as like, best practices for this time. Even though my doctor did tell me I could start eating kind of like whatever I wanted if it was going to help me consume more food. I tried that. I tried eating whatever I wanted so that I could consume more food. And I quickly found out that the original rules, girl, that was the best and cutest way to survive all of this. So I'll share that just in case anybody wonders, because it's not what you think. And God knows I was shocked and surprised and in awe when I was in the hospital and they had the nutritionists come in and talk to me about the things I should be eating. Quite frankly, it blew my mind. So let's do that on Thursday. Now, here's a quick little update about how I'm actually doing. I don't have the results from my CT scan yet. I will get them on Wednesday. I am walking more and I have started doing the treadmill. The first time I did the treadmill was last week, and I did 30 minutes on a speed of about 1.5. Not going to lie to you, I got tired about halfway through and I could feel all of my muscles. And I think that's just because the treadmill is different than walking outside, right? I feel like the treadmill almost forces you to walk faster than what you would maybe want to. And it in a way that almost feels unnatural, maybe to your natural stride. Whereas when you walk outside, even if you're walking at that same pace or you are walking just faster in general, your stride isn't being compromised by like the moving of the treadmill belt, if that's a good way to explain that. But I got tired about halfway through that 30 minutes. Now, today, which over the weekend, I did not walk. It rained, I think, on Sunday. And I think on Saturday, I was just like, yeah, girl, no, we're going to rest our body. So I didn't walk all weekend. So today I woke up feeling great, right? Woke up feeling great. So I was like, okay, while I'm feeling good, let me put on something and go down here and walk. And I was initially going to walk outside, but then I checked the weather app and the weather app told me it was 49 degrees, which normally I would just bundle up and still go. But seeing as how I don't want my immune system to be compromised in any way right now, like I said, I'm trying to stay as healthy as possible. I was like, oh, girl, let's just walk on the treadmill. That way you don't have to worry about being chilly out there and sweating and then coming back inside and potentially giving yourself a cold. So we did the treadmill again. Today, I walked for 50 minutes, which is the longest walk that I've probably done since August. I walked for 50 minutes at a speed of about 2.5. I think I went up to 2.6 for a little bit towards the end, but for the most part, it was on 2.5 for that whole walk. So my goal this week is to really focus on building my endurance and being able to do things like walking for an extended period of time. Last week, I also tried doing some of the ankle weight exercises that my physical therapist had introduced me to last week. I tried them on my own, but I tried them after walking. And I think I was just tired. I mean, I was able to do them and I got through it, but like, it was like, girl, to what end? Like, why are we trying to like rush ourselves back to being able to do all of this? And that is actually what we're going to talk about in a minute. But one more update that I wanted to give, just because I think this has been one of the things that I have been tracking to determine, just to determine really nothing actually, but just to give myself an idea of what I'm looking at when all of this is over. And that is my navel. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to have a navel when all of this was said and done. And maybe more of my swelling has gone down. Definitely some of the bruising and like discoloration has faded and gone away. My navel was lost and turned out there for a minute, but girl, she's back. Now she's a different navel still than what she was. Like she's still not a full outie like I had. But no, like I can see a little outline of a navel, and I still think she's gonna be like flat, but the image of her is still there. So I think I am gonna have something that resembles a navel. It will almost look like somebody drew it on me, but at least it is still like there enough for me to feel like, oh, okay, this is gonna go well. At least one thing that I thought wasn't gonna go in my favor looks like, girl, it might go in my favor, just with a different outcome. But I'll take it because I didn't think I was gonna have one, period, after this. So yay. Okay, so let's talk about rushing ourselves through any type of like stage that we're in, or like the process that we're in. Rushing the process of like healing, recovery, or any type of journey, right? Why do we do that? Like, why do we feel like we need to rush ourselves? And that could be anything. That could be like you just caught a cold. Let's just say you caught a cold and maybe you're on the third day of that cold. You will find yourself saying like, let me hurry up and do such and such so I can feel better, which might not be the best example because nobody likes being sick. But why can't we just allow ourselves to be in like that state of discomfort? And for me, because I've given this a lot of thought, I feel like it is because you feel like it's wasted time, or like I feel like it is wasted time when you're just kind of laying around trying to be better or do better or have better or whatever. Any day that you spend that's not where you want to be, and you feel like you're not even progressing closer towards it, you feel like it's wasted time. Like I could be doing so and so, right? I think that whenever anybody is on any type of journey, like, so let's say like a fitness journey, right? Let's say you're on a fitness journey and you feel like you're either not getting results, or you feel like you're doing the things, but you're just not seeing any progress. You feel like that's wasted time. And that's why a lot of people quit. You feel like that's wasted time. But why is that when you're still doing something good for yourself? If you are going through some type of like medical situation like I am, and you know you're supposed to be like resting, or maybe not doing as much, taking it easy, however you would like to word it, why is it that we have such a hard time just accepting that and then doing it? That to me has been one of the things that's been like so hard about this. And I have talked about it already when I say things like, oh, I'm trying to find things to like fill my time. But last week it occurred to me that maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Like, why are you trying to fill your time? Why can't you just rest and recover and heal without making yourself feel like you're unproductive. Because at the root of it, that's really what it is. I feel like so unproductive. But I would say the same thing about anybody going through anything and you feel like you want to rush through it, right? You feel like you want to rush through it instead of maybe seeing the good or the positive in whatever like season that you're in. Why do we feel the need to rush, right? Why? Why do we feel the need to rush? What is uncomfortable about resting? Like, what is it? And I had to ask myself that question. I'm like, what is so uncomfortable to me about the idea of me just resting and just existing, just being, just being here, outside of the fact that some days I do have cabin fever and I'm bored. But I'm like, what is wrong with just being in here? What is wrong with other people like doing all of the stuff and me literally just sitting here? Now, of course, I think on some level, a part of me feels like feels maybe bad because I know how much heavy lifting it is to like run this family and run this household. So yeah, a part of me does feel like, ooh, gee, my husband is literally doing everything that I would normally be doing. And on top of that, like he's working his job, right? Which is a lot. But like, girl, why do I feel bad about that? Like, why? Why? Because there's nothing I can do about it. Like, it's nothing I can do about the state of how things are. But there is a part of me that is kind of like, oh, but I should try to help where I can or like do whatever. And why? Why do women feel like that? Like we have to always lighten the load for somebody or some situation, even when we know we ourselves are probably truly incapable of doing it. Like really, you should not even be doing it. But why mentally do our brains go to that place? And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's that we just don't identify with being on the receiving end of care. I don't know if we feel like at our best, if we feel like we're being productive. I don't know if it's just the fact that we're just not used to being so deeply rooted in like a sedentary lifestyle that feels very foreign to us. I don't know what it is, but I do know that it is something very wrong with not feeling like you can just kind of just sit back and just be and not feel like you got to rush yourself even through the most fragile times in your life. Taking my particular situation like off the table as an example, if you are on any other type of journey, like let's say you went back to school, let's say you are on like some type of wellness journey, let's say you are on some type of journey to discovery where you're just trying to either reinvent yourself or whatever, don't rush yourself through it. Don't make yourself feel like you got to hurry up and have all the answers, or you got to hurry up and get to where you're going, or you feel like you got to take 18 credit hours so you can hurry up and graduate. Like, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, because ultimately that just makes things harder on you. And that is what I have learned, right? When we feel like we have to rush ourselves through stages in our lives where we ourselves would like to give ourselves more grace, especially if the people around you seem to be giving you the grace that you're not even giving yourself, allow yourself the time to actually go through whatever it is you're going through without the pressure of rushing yourself. And hopefully this is coming out the way that I think about it in my mind. But literally take it easy. Like people keep saying to me, and I think it's because people are starting to like see me now, and I'm physically doing so much better. Like when you see me now, like I don't look as sick. I'm moving really well. Like I'm walking really well. Some days I'm even like dressed in real clothes, which is a challenge in and of itself. And I will talk about that at the end of this call. But I'll have on like real clothes. Some days I'll have on like makeup and my hair will be done. Just kind of depends on how much energy I had that morning. But I think when people see us and we seem like we're so like put together and we seem like things are going great, it doesn't necessarily mean, number one, that is the case. But then number two, that we shouldn't be extended a level of grace that allows us to move slowly through whatever it is that we're going through. And sometimes I think well-meaning people in our lives, maybe it's friends or family or whoever, people that you talk to on a regular basis, I know at least one person in everyone's life is that person that says things like, well, shouldn't you be over that by now? Or how much longer is it going to take you to do so and so? Or you've been doing such and such for forever. And it's like, yeah, my race, my pace, boo. So I'll get through this when I'm supposed to be through it. And today is obviously not that day. Like I don't want to rush myself through all of the stages and phases in my life, no matter how uncomfortable they might be, or no matter how uncomfortable they might make the people around me. I deserve to move slowly through whatever it is that I'm going through. And I think that's already such a challenge for like us as women, but it definitely can be challenging to like maybe outsiders, women who are older than us. And certainly it can be challenging to like partners or the people in your life that you might live with. It could be challenging for them, right? And it's hard to break those habits. Like it's hard to tell yourself on a daily basis, it's okay for me not to already be where I want to be. Or it's okay for me to be doing this particular thing at the pace that I'm doing it. Certainly when I was coaching women and people would want to hurry up and lose like 20 pounds. And I would always caution against that. And I would be like, oh, girl, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it fast because then you miss all of the lessons that teach you how to maintain it once you get there. You can do things fast if you want to, but only if you're also going to be able to learn while you're doing it at that pace. And most people cannot take on new habits, break old ones, and learn sustainability all at one time, because it's just too much of an emotional journey for that to happen, which, you know, very rarely would people believe me when I told them that. And most people ended up finding that out the hard way, which is what we're all trying to avoid, right? So it's like habits are hard to break, and it's hard to break mental habits that tell you stuff like, you know, I've noticed online people talk about how they're like they have a narrator in their brain. I can't think of what social media is actually calling that, but they're basically saying they have like a voice in their head that's like narrating their life and their day, like as they go through it. And I feel like turning that voice off would probably help a lot of people, because, for example, you might say to yourself, like, I'm going through a stage in my life where I really am trying to make things more meaningful, right? So I'm going to slow things down, and I'm going to like light candles, play music, use my nice cutlery, or drink from my really pretty glasses, or like whatever it is. But then like that narrator in your brain will be like, girl, hurry up and make this dinner so you can go do so and so. Or like, girl, don't you see all these things that need to be done? Blah, 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 blah. And I think turning that voice off definitely can help with what we're talking about. But more than that, literally telling yourself you deserve to move at a pace that's comfortable for you. And like, that's okay. Now, in my situation that I'm going through right now, I haven't had anybody be like, girl, you still so and so, like you're still this, you're still that. And I think that's because from the beginning I was clear and I told people I will be in this situation till the end of 2025. So like, don't even ask me. Don't even ask me. Just know that if you see me and you see that I'm doing, or you think I'm doing fine, it's probably because number one, you can't see my abdomen. Because of the way I'm like dressing now, like I hide it and I camouflage it. I'm like, you cannot see what's going on with me. Yes, every single day I'm better and I'm stronger and I'm healthier. But that doesn't mean that like I'm good. I'm 100% back to where I was before all of this. And if it takes me quite some time to get back to me, like, that's fine. You're not, and maybe that's what we should start telling people. You are not in this with me. Like, you are a part of my support system, right? And I love that and I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, when you're going through something, you are in fact the only one going through it. So when I say your race, your pace, I really mean that. You're the only one in school. Can't nobody sit and take tests and write papers for you but you, right? You are the only one maybe taking up that new hobby that's hard to learn, right? No one's sitting through the classes and practicing but you, right? You might be in a place where you are evaluating some of the relationships in your life. Nobody is dealing with that emotional roller coaster but you. So like, people can try to influence you to kind of like get over things or rush through how you feel. And I see a lot of that online too. Like, girl, you should da 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 da. And it's kind of like, because you like they, and I hate to quote a man, but you wasn't with me shooting in the gym, but I mean that in the opposite way that man meant it, right? You aren't with me every day going through what I'm going through. So you cannot tell me that I should already be at a place of like a finale with this. My race, my pace. And I choose not to rush myself through my healing, through my recovery, or through whatever journey that I'm on. And I think, like I said, we break that by kind of like quieting that voice in our mind that tells us we should be being more productive, or that even tells us we should be doing this faster, or that tells us maybe that we should be like all consumed by something. Because I also kind of feel like that's where it goes left for me sometimes. And that might be true for somebody else too. That sometimes when you're just all consumed by something and you let it become your whole identity and your personality, that can kind of make you go through things maybe a little bit faster than what you would be going through it. You deserve to go through things very slowly at your own pace. You don't have to rush yourself through any fragile state that you might find yourself in. And maybe not that the state is fragile, but it's like an important time in your life. Let's word it like that. You could be going through a very important time in your life and feel the need to hurry up and get yourself to the other side of it, when really, why are you rushing? Why would you put that added pressure and stress on yourself? Take things one day at a time, and just know that the journey is going to be the same, whether you beat yourself up getting through it, or whether you so very gently ease yourself to whatever finish line it is that you're seeking. So I don't know. You guys can give me your thoughts on that. You can message me on Instagram at TFV Fitness and let me know how you feel about today's topic. Let's talk about some of the things that I've seen on my timeline. I like to call this segment Thoughts and Timeline Takes. Number one, because it is everywhere on my particular side of the internet, is the Boy Is Mine tour. Now, initially when they started talking about that tour, I was kind of geeked about it because, of course, I'm 41. I was a teenager when The Boy Is Mine came out. I remember getting Brandy's very first CD. I remember getting Never Say Never, which, by the way, was one of the first albums that did that whole when one song turns into the other. I know people were like gagged over that with Renaissance, but and y'all know how I feel about Beyonce, so not too much on her. But I remember Brandy doing that for like Never Say Never. So that was not a new concept to me. Which, by the way, both of those albums, Brandy, self-titled, and Never Say Never, amazing. Now, I have to be honest and say, after Never Say Never, Brandy's singles did not intrigue me enough to make me listen to her full bodies of work after Never Say Never. So there's that. Monica, her first CD, So Good. And her second CD, titled The Boy Is Mine, had, I want to say First Night is on that CD. And I'm going to be honest, I never heard Monica's second CD in its entirety. Nor am I like the biggest fan of Monica, like musically. Like, I know she has singles, but you know what? My thing is, I don't know. I feel like with Brandy and with Monica, they were such huge stars when we were teenagers. But for some reason, I don't know that their careers were handled all that well as we all got older. And I don't know why that is. Now, surely I feel as if, anyway, Monica had the more successful career as we have all aged. I know Monica has had lots of like songs on the radio that have done really, really well. But like I said, I just haven't followed any of it all that closely to feel inclined to buy a concert ticket. Now, with that being said, I love a concert, and I also love me some Kelly Rowland, and that's who's opening up for them. And I was going to go before my current situation, I was going to go. But then when we got the dates, it was like, ooh, y'all are coming to Atlanta on Halloween. And who does that? Who planned that? That should have been a night y'all took off, because I have children. So do a lot of people this age. We've got kids, and like, who's going to do Halloween with the kids? I don't know. Which, no judgment. If you're going to the concert and you told them kids you'll catch them Halloween 2026, I fully understand if you're like a huge fan of them. But I just didn't feel like super strongly one way or the other about it. But then I started seeing the videos online, which, is what social media do to you, won't it? I started seeing the videos online, and they both sound great. They both sound so good. And I was just like, okay, well, this might be something worth spending some money on going to it. And then the second night of the tour, we have some type of abrupt ending in Chicago that has now literally taken over my TikTok and my Threads timeline. Now, people say Brandy was singing midway through a song. She walks off stage. I saw a video of her go over to the sound table. She said something to the people at the sound table, and then she left. Excuse me. And from what people that were actually at the concert say, she never came back. She left. She never came back. And Monica had to finish out the show. And not only did Monica have to finish out the show, but then I guess the show just ended without any type of communication. Like, people didn't even realize the show was over. Like, they said the lights just came on in the building, and that's kind of how they knew that the show was a wrap for the night. Now, because there has been so much discourse about this online, I feel like a few things can be true all at once. Number one, if I was somebody who had a ticket for that concert, I would be upset, just like a lot of these people are talking about it online. Like, they're upset because they feel like they paid to see Brandy and Monica. Brandy left at some point during the show, so they did not get her full set. And of course, the finale to the night is the two of them singing The Boy Is Mine. Now, if I come to the Boy Is Mine tour and I don't get to see them sing The Boy Is Mine, baby, I'm going to want something. I'm going to want something. I'm going to either want y'all to say something, maybe give me some sort of an apology. I know I can't get my money back because I know concerts just don't work like that. But you gotta do something. And I don't know if Chicago is one of their cities that's going to get more than one night. Like, I don't know if they go back to Chicago. But I kind of feel like the people who went that night, not that they deserve a whole nother concert, but I kind of feel like, I personally feel like they are due something. And I don't know what that something is, but I do know that if I was one of those concert goers, I too would be mad and I too would want something because I didn't get my full experience. Yeah, I would want something. So like after all of this happens, no one says anything. Not Brandy, not Monica, nobody. No one says a word. But people started posting online about that. And I don't think that has worked out in everyone's favor because at this point, we know when things happen, especially to like celebrities, because you're not privy to all the information, it's in good taste to kind of wait and see what is said because you never know what somebody is going through. And you don't want to have a situation where you are like saying disparaging things and you end up finding out somebody is like really sick or there's something really wrong. And that is why Brandy had to leave the concert, right? Well, when she finally released a statement, and there are differing opinions about this on the internet. Now, as someone who studied communications in school, someone who took several classes in public relations, as someone who actually, just for funsies over the weekend, I was reading my comms textbook from college. And if you don't believe me, I actually took a picture of one of the pages because it was fascinating to go back and like read about the relationships that people have in their lives. And basically the textbook was breaking down the different relationships that you have. So like your friends, your family, and romantic relationships are like the top 3 relationships that a person has. And then they kind of teach you basically communication strategies to navigate those 3 different types of relationships. Anyway, when I'm reading the thing that got posted on there or on the internet about what happened with Brandy, I definitely read that and said, now, which one is it? Is it dehydration or is it sound? Because it can be both. But if it's both, you got to word this a little bit better. If she was already dehydrated and not feeling well, then yeah, you say that. But then you say, and on top of her not feeling well, the sound was bad and she was having to exert herself to compensate for the bad sound. So that's why she left and she didn't come back. Right? But the way that was worded, it made it seem like they were trying to blame too many things. I don't know. It was just poorly worded. Like it just wasn't put together well. And maybe it wasn't put together well because they ended up responding purely because of the fallout online. And people were saying like, are they going to say something? They need to make an announcement, blah, 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 blah. So they threw something together and they posted it. Not to say that any of it wasn't true, because we definitely saw her on video go talk to the people at the sound table. So I know she wasn't pleased with something, or yeah, it would have had to be that. Because I'm like, if you don't feel well, you probably just leave. You don't stop and talk to the sound people. So I do think there was a sound issue, but she may have also just not been feeling well because, like people have said online already, that when you are a woman in your 40s and you do have on all of those clothes that Brandy is performing in, you probably do need some fans. You probably do need water. You probably do need to make sure that you're preparing yourself even before you hit stage with lots of hydration. Maybe you do need a little bit of an IV drip before you go out there. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. And we hope she's okay. Like, we hope she's fine and she's able to finish out the remaining tour dates. I think they had a third night in Indianapolis yesterday and she performed for that whole show. So obviously she's doing okay, or at least from the outside looking in, she appears to be doing okay. And maybe even her sound is doing even better today, right? But there has been so much fallout over that whole thing. And I think people are starting to miss the plot a little bit. You can have compassion and have grace for what somebody might be going through, but also have, and that's for the entertainer, right? But also have compassion for the people that spent their hard-earned money to go see this show and they didn't get what they wanted or what we're expecting. I think it's fair to give all of them, both sides, Brandy and the people at the concert, a little compassion, because either way it goes, no one would have wanted to be at that show and then have that happen to them. And I think that is a fair thing to say. If you're on TikTok, you may or may not have had a video come across your FYP about a husband who went on a cruise with his daddy for his birthday instead of staying home with his wife and their 4 kids. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about at all, let me catch you up to speed. This woman starts the video by literally carrying in her hand a box that had decorations for her husband's birthday party. I think either that night or the next day they were it was the next day for sure. They were supposed to be celebrating his birthday. She was like, these are the decorations in my hand. Tomorrow at 2:00, I'm supposed to be picking up his cake. But he literally just called me and told me that tomorrow morning he's leaving to go on a cruise with his daddy because his daddy at the last minute decided to invite him to go on this cruise. Now, the way the lie is presented to this woman, it makes it sound as if maybe the daddy had bought 3 tickets for a cruise, right? And the way it's told to this woman is that whoever the daddy was gonna take, I guess they dropped out at the last minute. And so now he's asking his son, well, like, son, do you want to come on this cruise for your birthday? Because I know your birthday is tomorrow. And of course, the husband is like, yeah, Dad, sure. I'll go on this 5-day cruise with you at the last minute, even though my wife is throwing me a birthday party tomorrow. Stay with me. The wife ends up, of course, quite naturally talking to the husband. And I guess he flat out tells her, like, yeah, I'm going on this cruise, blah, blah, blah. Of course, they have some back and forth about it. She ends up calling him selfish. He ends up basically telling her, I might be selfish, but baby, I'm going to be selfish on the sea. And so he's like, I'm out. He goes on the cruise. Okay. Now, friends, if 6 of y'all went out to dinner, then 4 of y'all was really cheap. Because only 2 of you had dinner, I found your credit card receipt. Because the man, of course, that lady's video ends up going viral. And so now her husband is on this cruise, but he's seeing what everybody is basically saying about him. And basically they was saying he ain't worth nothing. We haven't even seen that man yet. He starts making videos responding to his wife and us, the audience, because he's like, it's not that deep. That lady be going places all the time with her friends and I stay home with them kids. I wanted to go on this cruise with my daddy. My daddy, kind of like, I guess, offered me this cruise at the last minute, blah, blah, blah. So what we know about going on cruises, in case you've never been on one, and I have only ever been on one. It was my first, my last, and my only cruise because I ended up getting the coronavirus while I was out at sea. But we know how much planning goes into that. We know them people want everything short of a blood sample before you get on that ship. They want to see your passport or whatever your documents are that you're going to provide for them. They want to see those. I'm pretty sure I remember Royal Caribbean wanting our faces. Like we had to scan our faces in an app or something like that. And I also want to say you cannot make changes to your cruise information, like the passenger information, after a certain point. Like you're locked in as a passenger after that, right? So us, her new friends on TikTok, not me. I didn't write in her comments because everyone else had said everything that I would have said. But people were telling her like, girl, ain't no way that man at the last minute, the night before a cruise, changed a ticket into his son's name. Like, it's no way. Like, your husband knew he was going on this cruise and he waited until the last minute to tell you because he wanted to go. He didn't want to do all that back and forth with you. So, number one, you're being lied to. Number two, fast forward back to the fact that this man is now posting videos of himself and his father, who is quite the supporting character on this cruise. We're like, okay, well, where's the third person? Because it was 3 tickets. It's not right, but it's okay. We just want to see the third person. You never see the third person. You never see the third person until that messy man posts one last video to get like a dig in with his wife. And you see a hand like float by the camera lens. Like, I don't know if she was shooing him or pushing him out the way or telling him to shut up and she just kind of waved her hand. I don't know. We don't know. But we do know that third person was not another man. That's what we know. Now, TikTok has gone into several different scenarios as to why this father, this son, and this mystery woman would all be on a cruise together. I don't really have any opinions about that because my main concern was after seeing the husband, I wondered why we were still on TikTok talking about this. Once I saw her husband, I said to myself, now, oh, baby, which I ain't never going to tell nobody what to do with their relationship. But I was like, oh, honey, this is what you are on TikTok fussing about. This right here is what you're fussing about. So, baby, let me tell you something. That man is going to be gone for 5 days at sea, right? You clearly are upset or you feel lied to or betrayed or whatever the situation is. You're mad. You're mad. Now, I don't know if this is a leavable offense, him going on this cruise. I think the way he disrespected her in those videos definitely would make me feel like, oh, that's how you really feel. Now, it's one thing for me to be mad about you going on this cruise and making a little video with some sad birthday cake with these children. It's quite another thing for you to be making videos calling me everything but a baddie. You know what I'm saying? That we wouldn't be able to tolerate. So, I'm telling my husband about this saga, this TikTok saga. Not that he cared or was interested, but what is a girl to do? I'm trapped in here. So he is an audience of one. So I'm telling him about this, and I'm like, if she had 5 days, this man was going to be out to sea. Baby, do you know what I could do in 5 days? I said, in 5 days, I would have had that whole house packed up with them children, and we would have been somewhere else in 5 days. If we had somewhere else to go, which I realize is like an obstacle to this whole thing. But baby, I know she got a mama and a daddy. She got somebody. Hopefully she has a support system. The way I would have not even been there when you got back from this cruise, honey. And that's why he be telling me to stay off TikTok, because I get on TikTok and then I be mad at him. Something else that has been all on my timeline, more so on Threads, that brought me a lot of joy was seeing all of the people out at the No Kings protest. What made me so very moved by seeing all of those videos and images was that for the most part, I really didn't see much of the 92% out there. So we kept our word and we stayed home, which I'm very happy about because as we know, there's a lot of civil unrest in this country right now. And I would hate to see any images of anybody in the 92% getting harmed, trying to basically say, I told you so. But if you haven't seen any of that, I personally was following the crowds of Chicago, D.C., Columbia, South Carolina, Boston, and Boise, Idaho. And I felt like those places really had like a huge turnout. Now that I think about it, I didn't see any of the Los Angeles footage, like any of the West Coast footage. I'm going to have to search for that after this because I would have thought that came across my timeline, but no, I didn't see it. Something else that I found to be very interesting that I saw, and you may have seen it too, was a clip of Jennifer Lopez on the Howard Stern show talking about how, out of all the relationships she's been in, she feels like she's poured out a lot of love, but that she hasn't necessarily been truly loved in return. That clip was everywhere. And so I have a few things I would like to say about that clip, her interview on Howard Stern, but then just about Jennifer Lopez just in general. Let's start with J-Lo in general. Now, I know a couple years ago when her and Ben got back together, we may have been a little skeptical. I'm not going to say we were hard on her. I think we were hard on that movie. That movie musical thing that she made for Amazon, that was a lot. There was a lot to, because I watched it. It was a lot to watch and it was a lot to process because it was two different things. It was like the making of it. There was like a special that was like the making of it. And then there was like the actual production, like the actual musical. And in the documentary part of it, Jane Fonda literally asked her, like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? Who are you trying to prove something to? Which I think were both two great questions. I love Jane Fonda. But I thought those were two great questions. And I think at the time, everybody was so focused on just like making fun of Jennifer Lopez that we really didn't remember like, oh, there's a woman behind all of this. Like there is a woman and a creative woman behind all of this. So there's that. There is a creator online who I think she goes by Nene. It's a very young, cute, funny girl who's like one of her main punchlines is always something about Jennifer Lopez. That girl could be talking about anything, but she'll somehow still find a way to like poke fun or make fun of J-Lo somehow. And it's like one of her running things. So that is also something I see a lot of on my timeline. And I also see a lot of people, whenever there's a clip of her or whatever, they talk about how like she can't sing, how she stole music from like Mariah Carey and Ashanti and I have even said that. I have been like, yeah, if Ashanti was the one singing them songs, hopefully Ashanti is getting money for that. Like hopefully she got paid. And I really do mean that. I really do mean if Ashanti was the one singing a lot of those bops from back in the day, I hope Ashanti is maybe secretly getting checks for that because she deserves, right? And I say that, and I will also say this, but I think I have grown a little weary of all of the J-Lo jokes online, because as I have had time, endless amounts of time, to like think about things and consume more content than I normally would be able to, I'm like, you know what? I sat down and I watched that Howard Stern interview, and I'm like, that lady really, number one, she really does believe in herself, which is not a bad thing, because I think, isn't that what all of us tell ourselves and each other, especially if you consider yourself to be a creative, right? You believe in yourself and you really do want, and kind of low key on some level, you need other people to believe in you so that your art actually touches somebody, right? So that's one thing that I kind of picked up on watching her in that Howard Stern interview. The next thing is that I'm like, that lady really is fearless. Like, she already knows what people think about her as like a singer and a performer. So the fact that she's doing such a big musical right now and she's out promoting it, and she really does feel like there could be Oscar buzz about this role. And granted, none of us have seen the movie. Howard Stern said it was amazing, which, I mean, what was he gonna say? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is one of those people that will tell you it's up to your face, but I doubt it. He was so enamored with her, and with specifically with how beautiful she is, that he kept referencing that. But he said, even like, he was like, even once you get past your beauty, he was like, the movie itself is like actually really good. Like, you do a good job with it. And I'm like, yeah, she is a talented actress. You can never take that from her. She really is. And I know that the singing is like a sore spot for people, but I'm like, that lady is actually not a bad singer. Like, that clip that was going around threads where she's with Steve Mackey and they're doing like voice lessons or whatever, I'm like, that actually wasn't bad. If I tried to do that right now, people would be like, oh no, like I would be one of those contestants on American Idol that was just like, ooh, no, like maybe they just put me up there for the entertainment value because they already knew I couldn't sing. Remember when they used to do that to people? That is not the case with her. Like, if you go, and I know somebody is going to be like, Tia, please. If you go and listen to that clip of her, I'm like, you actually don't sound bad, right? You don't. There are people that cannot do what you just did and make it sound the way you just made it sound. I don't know if maybe I am just maturing, which God, I hope so. But I think maybe it's too much on Jennifer Lopez, and not because I think she's like a revolutionary musician or anything like that, but just as a woman, like just girl to girl, to be a girl's girl, to say that you are a girl's girl, but you constantly beat down on her for whatever reason, I feel like it's tired. And I would like to just not do that to that lady anymore, like make jokes at her expense, because I'm like, she's a human being. One that if you really listen to what she's saying in interviews, some of the time does it sound a little self-absorbed, maybe, but if you're not going to be your own number one fan, who's going to assume that role for you? I don't know. But if you really listen to what she's saying, she basically says in the Howard Stern interview that it is her belief that there is no greater thing in life than love. Like, love is the highest point that anybody could ever reach in life. And she's not wrong. She's not wrong. So she says, so like if she falls in love 1,000,000 times in life, she would rather do that and maybe it not end up the way that she thought it would than to not have love in her life at all. And I said, okay, Jennifer, like I understand that, girl. Like I'm here for that. And she says, like we see in the clip, she feels like she's always loved so hard, but maybe not have gotten the kind of love in return that she feels like matched her energy, is basically what she was saying. And because it really never matched her energy, she was like, have I been loved at all, really? And she's like, no, I don't think I have. But what she does say is, I really do feel like those men did the best they could do with like the tools and the emotions that they had. She was like, I really do feel like I got the best of them. She was like, and there were glimpses of them showing me that they could like love me the way that I want to be loved. She was like, but it was never anything they were able to sustain. And she fully admits that, like, yeah, like I want to be loved out loud. She's like, if I'm having like a red carpet event, or if I'm doing something or working on something, like, yeah, I want my person to be with me, like throughout those things. And this is not for comparison, but when she said that, I thought to myself, yeah, I could see that, kind of like how when Beyonce goes on tour, Jay-Z is at all of the stops, like at all of the stops. But I think at this point, that's more of like a family thing. That's either a family thing or something that they decided was going to be the case after the whole Lemonade 444 era, which is none of my business, but I'm just saying. And I think that's what she sees for herself. Jennifer Lopez, I think she wants something that feels more of like a team situation. And now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, girl, because these people that you have been attached to, Mark Anthony, huge star in his own right, he can't always be with you because he got to go do his own stuff, right? Then A-Rod, you know, I really don't know what the situation was with her and A-Rod, because he definitely proposed to her. They were engaged. And I mean, yeah, he probably has work and like businesses and stuff. But I'm like, why didn't that relationship work out? I would love to know. Did people say he cheated on her? Is that what I remember? I don't know. Allegedly, whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. But so there's that. Then we know her and Ben, they did a whole spinning of the block. Why that did not work out again, I mean, I don't know, but I remember seeing pictures of them like buying a house, supposedly. But I just feel like that whole thing came and it went so quick. And it's kind of like, why would you spin the block only for y'all to break up again? But I don't think that was on her. I really do think that was on Ben, because she was too into it. Like she was too into it for that to have been a decision that she came to. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you have the time, go on YouTube and watch her Howard Stern interview, because I really do think it humanizes her and it does give you a lot of empathy for the fact that this is a woman who, at the end of the day, that lady just want to be in love. Like, and she doesn't want to have to argue for it. She doesn't want to have to fight for it. She wants it to come naturally and easy. She wants it to be a situation where if I'm working on this movie or this project or whatever, like I really want you here with me. And I want to say she said vice versa. Like, and if he's doing stuff and he's got stuff going on, like I want to show up for him. And I don't want to let it be a situation where if he's got like a premiere or he's got like a really big moment in his life and like he's doing that, but like while he's doing it, she's like upstairs in the hotel room because he doesn't feel comfortable or he's too insecure to be like photographed with her or to just have her around him. And because I guess apparently some of these men must feel like when she's in a room, like she's the center of everybody's attention, which she can't help it. She's never going to be able to change that or do anything about it. Like, that is always going to be what it's going to be. And I think at where she is in her life, I think she's just now coming into realizing that. And she says that in the interview, that like now she realizes like, oh, when I'm in a relationship, I realize now that like I'm Jennifer Lopez, and that comes with a lot. And every man just cannot handle that. So like I'm cool being by myself until I come across somebody who feels like they can handle it. It was a good interview. I feel like people should go up there and watch it because it definitely made me feel like I'm no longer here for the Jennifer Lopez slander and the jokes at her expense. That woman isn't doing anything that is different than what any other woman is doing. And that is, she's just trying to be happy and in love, number one. And number two, she really is just trying to express herself creatively. And she's going to use every opportunity that comes her way to do that. And she's not afraid to do it and have y'all talking about her. And she's not afraid to do it and maybe it quite possibly not go so well. She would rather do it and say she did it and tried than to not do it at all. And you can't do nothing but respect that. So we're Team J-Lo over here from now on, which will make my best friend so happy because she has always been Team J-Lo. Lastly, let's talk about what's on my TV. I hesitate to call this segment Tia's TV, but I feel like I cannot control myself. I watched the starting five. So good. It really is kind of like the docuseries I told y'all about last time, The Quarterback, but it's the basketball version. First of all, you get to meet all these basketball players that you probably didn't even know. Like, I did not know who SGA was before this. I also was unaware that the Oklahoma City Thunder finally won a championship under his leadership. So learned about him. I learned about Tyrese Halliburton. Had no idea who he was, but apparently he plays for the Pacers and he's very good. They told that boy all season long he was overrated, and he led his team all the way to the championship. Now, he hurt his ankle during the last game of the finals, and he had to sit like half of the game out or something. And of course, his team ended up losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they made it all the way to the championship, which means there's a bright future for that young man and the Indiana Pacers. We also got introduced to, we didn't get introduced to him. We have always known who Kevin Durant is, but we got to see Kevin Durant in this docuseries. And to be honest, we didn't learn anything new about him. If you've ever known anything about basketball or Kevin Durant, you know that his little personality is not the most happy-go-lucky personality. Like, Kevin Durant really might curse you out, either to your face or on the internet. And that is pretty much what you see in this docuseries. Him and his mama. So his brand has stayed the same since he entered the NBA many moons ago. And then we also got to see James Harden, which, Kevin Durant and James Harden used to play together for the Oklahoma City Thunder a long time ago, back when I used to follow basketball. And people thought they were going to win a championship when they were playing there with Russell Westbrook, but they never did. And then, the team dismantled. Kevin Durant went to the Warriors and won all those championships. People said he was ring chasing, which he probably was, but isn't that the whole point of playing basketball? And James Harden went to Houston, and he was there for a long time. But now Harden is with the LA Clippers. Apparently he's from LA, so he's really happy about that. And you got to get to know him. Now, I had never known anything about that man past the fact that his beard is out of control. And truly, I don't know what that's about. I hope he is in therapy over it, because truly that cannot be just like an aesthetic choice that he's making. But I had really never known anything about him other than fear the beard, right? you learn that he is a father, number one. He has a child, and he has a child on the way. Well, that girl has probably had that baby by now because, of course, of the timing of the film, right? She's probably had that baby, but he is a father, which was the first thing that I was like, oh, who knew? He's in a serious relationship with this girl. And now I have to go find her Instagram and see if they're like engaged or anything, because they weren't when this was being filmed. They were not engaged at all. But he talks really highly of her and says that he's like in real deep love with her. So I hope that girl, because I know she wants to be engaged. So I hope they're engaged by now. But yeah, they got a little baby on the way. He shared his mother's journey with breast cancer, and he seems to be a very quiet little personality, but one that, you're like, okay, James Harden might have his head on straight just a little bit. Him and Kevin Durant are like friends in real life. And you also get to know Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics, who, if you've ever heard anything about him, when he first entered the league, people might remember the commentators and like the analysts talking about how smart he was, because he would give like TED Talks on physics and scientific matters. And he has all of these interests outside of basketball that are like academic based, because he's just super smart, like smarter than apparently the average athlete. So people used to talk about that. He's very family centered. They show him taking care of his grandfather, but really they did I don't know. I feel like his storyline, maybe he didn't open up as much as the other players on this season, but you do see him like taking care of his grandfather, working on different projects with his mom. His mom's house got broken into during the filming of this. And so he talks a little bit about that. Some of his challenges on the court, like he had to have surgery on his legs. But really, other than that, I didn't walk away from this season feeling like I got to know more about him. And I think that's the whole point of that show, is to feel like you're getting to know players off the court. But I would watch it. And like I said about the other sports docuseries, you don't have to be a fan of the sport to actually enjoy these shows. The Perfect Neighbor. People are talking a lot about that online. It is a camera, like a body cam footage filmed documentary that follows the story that came out of Florida of this woman that lived in this predominantly Black neighborhood. She had an issue with the kids playing. One thing leads to another, and she basically ends up killing the mother of some of these kids. I'm not watching it. Like, I'm not going to watch it, but just because I feel like when these types of stories actually break the news and like they're happening in real time, that's enough for me. I think I decided back when we watched, maybe it was the documentary about the Central Park 5. Maybe it was that one, or maybe it was another one that came on Netflix. I don't know, but I just decided a long time ago, I'm not rewatching these things anymore. So when it happens in real time in the news, that's enough for me. That is enough for me. I don't need to watch it pieced together as a source of entertainment, but it's out there. If people would like to watch it, I'm just not going to watch it. Netflix also just recently released Confessions of a Shopaholic, which is an old movie, but I watched it the other day and I was reminded of how like cute and fun movies used to be. I told y'all I'm trying to find all of those old movies, because on the days where I am able to bring myself to like just sit and rest, those are like super relaxing to me because I don't have to worry about nothing crazy happening. And lastly, it's that special, wonderful time of the year where Halloween is only like a week or so away. But if you are already anticipating the holiday season, Christmas, all of that, you can start watching Christmas movies nonstop right now. if you have access to the Hallmark Channel. They are running those movies one right after the other. You can get your holiday feel starting right now. I think those movies started last weekend. And the thing about the holiday movies is this. If you start watching them too early, it's kind of like your Christmas cherry gets popped too soon, right? Then by the time Christmas comes, like you're sick of it, like you've had enough. But if you start watching those movies, I would say maybe like a week or so after Halloween, it's like a sweet spot where it's just perfect. And you get like a really good, true Christmas holiday feeling, and you get to have it for like the full, like 6 or 7 weeks? Well, no, more than that. Maybe like closer to 8 weeks, right? You get it. You get all the feels. Watching those movies will also make you want to go ahead and start decorating. So that's why I said you got to be careful when you start watching them, because they really do influence you to go ahead and like make it all things Christmas. So you have to be careful about when you start. But if you're one of those people who puts their Christmas tree up on October 31st, then by all means, go ahead and start watching your holiday movies. I am going to be telling my husband to bring those Christmas trees up probably the week after Halloween, because I don't know if he realizes how much work that is. But like typically I pick one weekend and I bring up like all of the Christmas trees for our bedrooms. And I don't decorate the kids' trees. I just put them up and like do the lights, and I fluff the trees so that when they come home from school, they can decorate their trees, and like that's that. So I normally do it. I split it up, and then I do the big tree that goes in the living room like another day. So that is what I'm going to encourage him to do. I actually have already encouraged him to do that. And he responded by saying, oh no, whatever day I go down there to get that stuff, I'm bringing it all up at one time. And see, he would say that because he doesn't realize how much stuff is down there for the Christmas season. He doesn't realize it because I would bring all that stuff up while he was at work. I mean, he works remote from home now, 100%. But when he used to have to go back and forth to all of the places, he would just come home one day and it would be Christmas in here. So he's saying that because he is inexperienced in bringing the holiday spirit to life. And I cannot wait for him to go down there and start bringing that stuff up. And we will have to see if he still feels like he wants to bring it all up in one day once he starts doing it. I get little peaks and moments of joy during this time where I am at rest and taking it easy. And I have a feeling that this will be one that I just add to my list of, see, you had no idea that that's what all it took to run this place until you did it. And I kind of love that for me. But more than loving that for me, I love that for him, because I'm like, now you know. Now you know, and now we both can have a better understanding of why I treat myself so very well, because I work so hard and I truly do deserve it. Anyway, girl, that's all I got for us today. I'll be back on Thursday. Remember, while you're out, don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you. Compliment another woman when you see her out. Tell her something nice about herself. Make her smile. And never knock another woman's hustle. I'll talk to you in a couple days. Love you, girl. Bye.